Hello everybody, my name is MDog. I am a heavy edit player for my team Last Ditch Effort, and I wanted to do a couple of different VoD reviews here, mostly focusing on myself and what personal improvements that I could work on in order to improve myself at Splatoon. I wanted to record this just so one, I could always go back to it, but also just to help anyone else who might need some assistance on kind of how to VoD review their own stuff, because there's always something to learn, especially when you go back and look at other games. So let me go ahead and transition over to that. We have two games here, one where I played the heavy edit with cooler, and then one where I was playing the Splattershot Pro Frozen without cooler because my team wanted to work on both cooler and coolerless. But yeah, let me go ahead and just swap on over to the gameplay and we can get started. Alright, so here's our first game. It's going to be Clan Blitz on Scourge. So we are primarily going to be just looking at this game for the headed game. Now, immediately, right off the bat, I'm paying attention to the weapons at the top, and I'm mentally taking a note of what subs and specials we have to watch out for. This new Octobrush, the Embers Octobrush, has a point sensor, or excuse me, it has an Autobomb and Kraken. If I am correct, I'll flash on screen if that's correct or not. The 3K E-liter here, or E-liter 4K, excuse me, is going to have a beacon and a Kraken. So we're dealing with two Kraken weapons already. Here we have a custom blaster, which we also have on our team here. But this custom blaster is going to have point sensor and splashdown, so we'll have to watch out for splashdown. And then we have this new stringer, the Ember Stringer, which is going to have inkjet and dart, angle shooter. So that's going to be the primary abilities of these weapons. And right off the bat, I'm already going to be taking a look and prioritizing these two weapons here. And the reason why I want to prioritize these two weapons is because traditionally my team has a little bit more difficulty dealing with Octobrush and E-liter than I feel like we should. But these are going to be my priority weapons that I want to focus on and make sure that I know where these two are at all times. The next weapon that I'm going to prioritize is the blaster. Now, my team also has a little bit of difficulty dealing with blasters, but mostly range blasters or any blasters with greater range than a vanilla blaster. I think with the standard blaster, we kind of know how to deal with them, so we're mostly fine on that front. And then the last one I'm going to focus on is the stringer. We never really had any problems dealing with stringer, so my focus is not really there. So my priority here is going to be from left to right in terms of what weapons I need to focus on and what weapons I want to make sure I know where they're at all times. It's going to be Octobrush, E-liter, then Blaster, then Stringer. Okay, so right off the bat, my mentality right now is to get cooler as quickly as possible. With Hedit, it is a little bit difficult. I'm trying to get cooler within the first 10 seconds of the match here, so we'll go ahead and just keep playing here. But I'm trying to get cooler within the first 10 seconds of the match. Unfortunately, I don't get cooler within the first 10 seconds of the match. I get it in about the first 13 seconds of the match. Now, that is, I think, actually pretty good for a heavy edit player, especially since it's not like, Pencil or NZAP with the charge time here. But my build is centric around trying to get cooler out as quickly as possible. So I'm going to throw cooler in the most central location here as possible. And actually do want to go back here a little bit just to explain something. Now, I am already taking a mental note of where exactly my teammates are going. As you can see here, we have Lucy and Merlin going to the left out of spawn here, and Bio is by herself going out the right side of spawn here. So as soon as I get my cooler, or even before I get my cooler, I'm already mentally saying, okay, well, Lucy and Merlin are already going to be on the left side of base here, going around and dropping to this flank over here. And Bio is going to be dropping in alone on the right side here. So I'm automatically saying, well, I'm going to be going to the right side. Not only because Bio is right there, and it could be more important for Bio to have backup sooner rather than Lucy or Merlin, but also because right where I'm standing here, I am basically responsible, uh, mentally, again, I'm basically responsible for this whole right side of the stage. And what I mean by that is that if someone is going to show up here on top of Hat, I want to make sure that I can chase them out with my range, or even better, get a splat. Or I have the best vantage point to watch this area, because Bio can't look around the right side as easily as I can if I were to stand either here or up here. If I was on these two positions, then I can see pretty much everything that goes on this side of the map. So my responsibility is to watch this whole right side half of the map, just to make sure that no one is flanking us around the right side. I don't have to worry about this left half of the map because Lucy is already in a position to where they have about this range to view people, and then Merlin is already kind of in position to help Bio if she needs it, which she shouldn't be needing it right here. She shouldn't be needing it right here, obviously, because we haven't engaged anything. And as you can see, I throw my cooler out to the left here. It's the most central location. Everybody can get to it relatively quickly except for me, which is fine because I can go grab it later. In fact, the later that I grab it, it's not really that big of a deal. And also, the reason why it's not really that big of a deal if I don't grab it until later is because I have less commitment than the others do. Obviously, we have short range, mid range, short range, and mid range. So I have a little bit less of a commitment to grab cooler than the other three do. So that's why I don't get it until much later. So I already drop in. And as you can see, we're not really kind of engaging right now. You see the shot here from the E-leader. So you already kind of have an idea of the E-leader sightlines over here. So you want to be cautious of pretty much anywhere past this block right here. You want to be cautious of anything past this. And then also you can see a squid diving onto the right side of the map here, and the stringer bolts can go around this. So you can already kind of get a general idea of where the enemy team is just based off of what you can see in this one screenshot alone. And see, you can already see I've taken mental note that someone has dropped over here, and they are alone. So because they come over here alone, I decide, well, I'm going to go for them first because they are in a most vulnerable position. And me being right here and Lucy also being right here is really, really great because this means we're in a 2v1 situation to take out this guy, which we do. And you can also see Merlin showing up there, which would have made it a 3v1 situation even better. So far, our positioning right now is really good. Unfortunately, we left Bio kind of by herself back over here. You don't really want to leave your teammates by themselves for too long. But I believe... Yeah, so you saw that blaster bolt back there. That means Bio is with us all on the right side here. So we're in various positions all on the right side. We're not clumped up. So it is going to be difficult for them to rush us because we're all there, but we're not so clumped up where if like the stringer or the blaster or even the octobrush were to see us and get to us, they would have a much more difficult time to be getting out of there without trading. So they have to have basically a trade if they want to escape, basically. But as you can see, we already have we already know where all of the enemies are. The blaster, we know, we just splatted, so they're respawning. So we do have to be careful of the stringer. And I actually know exactly how far away the E-leader can shoot. See, right now, Merlin is currently in the E-leader sightline. Bio is in the stringer sightline, and I'm kind of just here. And what I know from where I'm positioned here, Bio for sure can get hit by the stringer and the E-leader. Merlin can get hit by the stringer and the E-leader. I cannot get hit by the stringer, but I can get hit by the E-leader. So I am more cautious of the E-leader than I am of the stringer up here because I know the E-liter has greater range. In fact, the E-liter can reach just about past me, I believe in this area. So, as you can see, I am significantly more cautious about it until I see Merlin's splash wall. And once I see the splash wall, I say, okay, and I am a little bit more comfortable approaching because the stringer just shot at the splash wall. The Octobrush is nowhere in sight. They retreated somewhere. And this splash wall has blocked a stringer bolt. And while the E-liter can still possibly get me from here, they won't be able to get me here. It's a much more difficult shot for them to shoot here than to shoot here. So I am going to use this whole wall plus the splash wall that was just there for cover. And here's another thing. Because we already had Cooler, Bio's already back in the fight. So we don't have to worry about trying to have people catch up to us at all. And then here's another thing that I wanted to see real quick. So I'm already with Merlin, and I know Lucy is back here, and I know Bio is jumped to me. So Lucy is already by themselves, which is not ideal, and the Octobrush is actually doing a 1v1 over here while I'm trying to fight up here with Merlin. Now, is Lucy going to go down? I don't believe they do, but that is something that I need to pay attention to is, oh, well, someone is alone back there, so I need to be more aware of what's going on over here. Now, as you can see, the Octobrush didn't engage Lucy, so Lucy is safe. And in fact, this whole area here is still safe, and I know exactly where everyone is now. Now, you see that Inkjet as well? I did not need to back up this far. I backed up way, way, way too far. I should have stopped right here, not come all the way around. Let me go ahead and reverse this real quickly. And let me show you how much distance I actually lose when I did this. See where this stringer is? This is where the stringer activated their Inkjet. See where I am in relation to where the stringer is overhead? See they pop Inkjet? See where I am in relation to this Inkjet? I went all the way back here. I did not need to go all the way back here. I should have went back here and stayed in this area rather than stay back here and go in this area. Not only are we losing a lot of ground by me going over here, I am allowing my teammate to go down without a fight, which if I was a better teammate to Merlin, we would be kind of sticking in this general area together along with Bio. So we would be guarding this area even with the Inkjet being engaged. The Inkjet only has so much range and it can only really focus on one person at a time in a group in order to secure a splat. So me being where I am, there's no reason for me to be back here. And in fact, this is actually a detriment because I'm losing vision on this entire side of the map. Actually, even worse, I'm losing vision on roughly about this entire side of the map. Let me redraw this. I'm losing vision on this entire section of the map. This is huge. I don't need to go back all the way over here. I should have stayed essentially where Bio is. That's where I should have stayed unless I was being shot at. But because I wasn't being shot at, I should have stayed where Bio was and not have been back here. Because I was back here, while we do still have Lucy watching this general area, which is good, I should have been positioned here so I can watch my teammates back and watch this general area. Because if I'm watching this general area and Lucy's watching this general area, we have basically half the map covered with our eyes. So there is no reason for me to back up that far as I did. I definitely should have stayed pretty much, yeah, exactly where Merlin is right now. That's where I should have stayed. But unfortunately, I didn't do that. Now, I did realize my mistake a lot sooner than... Like, I did realize my mistake, so I should have... I basically repositioned myself to be behind Lucy right here, but see how kind of, like, how far apart we are? This is okay, but I think, like, Lucy should have been maybe right here. Actually, better yet, I should have been right here. Let me do M. And then Lucy should probably have been, like, right here, along with Merlin and Bio. Mostly just to help Merlin in this 1v1, and to help poke the E-Leader and the Stringer that Bio is doing up there. So that would have been more ideal positioning from all of us. But for me especially, I should have been a lot closer than I was. Now here's me throwing some clams out. And I turn around, I see the Octobrush going into base. So let me go ahead and get an overhead of that. I see the Octobrush just dashing straight to base. Now, I was going to go and chase them just to make sure that they wouldn't, like, get an accidental score. But in comms, my teammate Lucy was like, it doesn't matter, I have clams, I'm going to go for the score. And as you can see, it immediately made the Octobrush turn around, and I was able to get a couple extra score as well. So that didn't matter. And in fact, the Octobrush is still over here, and they shouldn't have. And I know pretty much exactly where they are. And they, of course, pop Kraken. So I say, hey, watch out, there's a Kraken to my teammates, just to make sure that they know also that there's a Kraken in the vicinity. But they start chasing very poorly, I might add. I don't think that was a really good Kraken, but that's fine. Here I go back, collecting some more clams, making sure that I have a big, so we can push with that. I harass the E-Leader because the E-Leader is in an open position. I hear the Inkjet, and I'm being mindful of the Inkjet as I push in. I'm trying to wait for my teammates to come in, but unfortunately I get caught by both the Blaster and the Inkjet. So the Blaster is able to get me out, but the Blaster is kind of overextending here, which is never really something that you should do, but that's totally up to them. So here I am. I'm going to reposition here, try to get up to snipe. And then I notice, look how far back I am in comparison to the rest of my team. So I'm like, oh, well, my team is all up here. So I should also be up there because that is just going to be the best position. One, to fight, but two, I should just be up there with my team. So I already know that I should be up there. Again, I don't... Well, in this situation, I think me being behind this block is ideal, because not only do I have cover, but I have protection from the Stringer, who I know is over here, and I think Merlin is fighting either the Octobrush or the E-Leader to some degree. Merlin is just kind of hanging out there, being an absolute menace. And yeah, see, I know the E-Leader and the Stringer are both over here, so I'm just kind of hiding in the block. I'm not entirely sure why I retreated this far back, but it is fine. I think Bio said that there's someone in base, so I was trying to chase that person in base, but they don't really manage to do much, which is good. Here I am trying to keep the ramp painted and cleared of enemies as we go in to try to get a goal. Here again, I see the E-Leader is kind of in a bad position, so I try to harass him as much as possible, trying to paint all over Snipe just to make sure the E-Leader can't stand there. Unfortunately, I get knocked out by the Octobrush, but they managed to get a trade. Unfortunately, the E-Leader did get one of us, and then the Inkjet did get the other, so we were not able to really make a good push here. So we're just going to all back up and reset. Bio is by herself. Unfortunately, she goes down because I think she got chased by the Octobrush and the Blaster. So we just said, okay, let's reset, it's fine. I noticed the E-Leader up on Snipe, so I'm going to rotate around, trying to peek at them via this little right drop here. Because the E-Leader has a lot more sight and I still have to worry about the Stringer, I don't engage, or I don't commit to being in this side. In fact, I rotate around just to make sure that the E-Leader can't shoot at me. I get cooler, I throw in the same exact spot as before, trying to make it as central as possible for everybody. Merlin manages to take out the E-Leader, which is excellent. I think Bio was able to take out the Blaster here. Octobrush. So Bio was able to take out the Octobrush, which is excellent. We have Zuka activated and shooting towards the goal. here again, I'm trying to just harass this ledge here. I really shouldn't be the one harassing this particular ledge. Actually, Bio should be the one harassing this ledge. But because I was just already there, I figured, well, since I'm already here, I might as well harass this ledge. We got the Inkjet. I'm missing one clam. I pick it up and make a goal. Unfortunately, I go down, but that leaves us plenty of space to make at least a couple of points, I think. Yeah, we made a couple of points here. We only really clear the penalty, but that's okay. We are down 2, so again, Lucy and I are automatically in our brains like, okay, we're down 2, we need to reset. Again, here I am rotating. I go on snipe just to make sure. See, I immediately drop off of snipe because I was like, oh yeah, stringer and blaster, these 3 can easily get me, so I don't want to really be on snipe in a bad position. So here I am kind of like trying to harass whoever's on the hat here. Luckily the stringer doesn't see me, so I managed to take them out. The blaster, or the octobrush, managed to take out the octobrush, managed to take out the blaster, and then all that's left is the E-leader. I have 7 points. I think I'm throwing a bunch to Bio to make sure that we can get a big. There we go. Now, here I'm throwing, I'm trying to throw out some curling bombs just to get some paint in. I'm trying to engage, but unfortunately we ran out of the timer of the baskets being open. Because that inkjet was actually popping a really, really good time. So right now, we're kind of just picking up bigs and throwing them off the ledge. The reason why we do this is, one, if you have a clam, a big clam, and the enemy team doesn't, they will get passive special charge. So if you are in the lead and you pick up a big clam and you're, again, in the lead, just toss it. Unless it's a really, really close game, then you just want to toss it because you're giving the enemy team an advantage by holding the big clam. And also because you're collecting 8 clams and you're throwing them off the map, it's going to take a while for those 8 clams to respawn. So you're giving less clams for the team, for the enemy team to score in. As you can see, because we're at such a huge deficit, I audibly say this to my team. Hey, I have clams. I'm throwing them off the ledge because we're in the lead, so we don't give them an advantage. It's exactly what I'm saying. And then exactly right here, I get sniped by the E-leader because I didn't know they were there. But here is where we're like, okay, they're in overtime. They have to rush. We don't. We're going to stay back and we're going to wait. We're going to wait for them to approach us because that is going to be the best way to kind of deal with this kind of situation. Luckily, they weren't able to get their big in. I think they missed at the last second, so they weren't able to get their big in. Overall, it was a very, very good game. There were some positions where I shouldn't have backed up as far as I did. But overall, I think it was a good game. I think I was cognitive of who I needed to watch out for. And I think we were actually pretty together for the most part. That is going to be kind of our biggest issue as a team, is that we kind of struggle to kind of group together when we need to. So that is something that we're definitely going to work on. And I think in this particular game, my positioning, being a little bit closer to the team was actually really, really good. So that was a really good game of Clan Blitz. We're going to go ahead and move on over to Splat Zones, and I'm going to be doing a Splatter Shot Pro. This next game is a game that I know we should have won, but we fumbled the ball really, really hard, and we ended up losing. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that one next here. All right, up next here, we have a match here on Eeltail Alley Splat Zones, probably one of my least favorite map mode combos in the game. Here, we did barely just lose, but I think there is a lot to learn from this particular one. There is quite a few things that we could go over. So let's go ahead and take a view of this one and see what we could improve here. Alright, so right off the bat here, again, we're going to try to prioritize which weapons that we need in order to kind of get an idea of how to fight. all these weapons here, I am actually pretty good at dealing with. I think if out of anything, I probably have the most problem dealing with the Wellstring here and the custom jet. Dreadringer and Splash I don't really have that much of an issue dealing with. So in my head, my priority to watch out for these 4 weapons is going to be 1, 2, granted these are interchangeable here, 3, and 4, but these are also interchangeable. Here we have Autobomb and Ultra Stamp. We have Suction Bomb and Ink Strike, not Ink Storm. The new Sea Jet will have Burst Bomb and Triple Splashdown, which I'm not really excited to fight against. And then for the Dreadringer, we have a Curling Bomb and Crab Tank. And on our team, we were practicing Coolerless, so we did swap out the cooler for the new Splatter Shot, which I think is a very, very good Splatter Shot. So we'll have Tenta Missiles, we'll have Tri-Strikes, we'll have a Booyah Bomb, and we'll have Crab as well. So let's go ahead and get into it here. Now, this time around, I personally do not have to worry about getting coolers, so I'm going to go with my teammate here. I decided that I was going to go with Bio here. I've tried previously to kind of hold this top right area here, but with the Wellstring, I decided to go up to the right and kind of around. Going to this left side of the zone is going to be really, really important for the most part, so we'll go ahead and go here. So here I am kind of staying back. I'm trying to play my range a little bit better here by trying to flush out the Wellstring. Unfortunately, I get caught in between the Tri-Strikes and the Wellstring. Luckily, Bio was able to get a trade, but unfortunately, we're 2-1, so it is even. Merlin did pop Crab Tank, but unfortunately, it goes down. So now we're just about even here. I'm coming back. I'm going to try to kind of work on the middle here, middle to left side. I have Tenta Missiles ready. Usually when I have Tenta Missiles, I kind of paint as much as I can, and then I get to a pretty decent space in the back to pop it. We managed to take out 1 here. We managed to take out 2. Tri-Strikes come in. We do our best, and I think we actually did really well at kind of taking out the Neo Splash here. And what I told my team is hey, I'm gonna go up and around to get on their side of the bridge because you can only really come up and around. Luckily, Lucy was able to strike the edge of the bridge here to help me go in, and so I do. It helps people come out. We have the Dredge here trying to fight me. Unfortunately, they managed to get me, but Bio was able to take him out. And I think Bio, unfortunately, was able to go down to someone else here. Here I am. I decided to not jump in, instead try to swim in, just because swimming in is a little bit safer, obviously. Here I'm going to use the top bridge, try to kind of keep space here. I was able to mark 2 people, but I only activated it on 1 person because someone else died. The Dredge was able to get me, but Bio was able to trade them, which is good. There's 1 more here. Bio should be able to take him out. I believe. Yeah, Bio was able to take him out. I jump in because I know it's safe. We have Booyah and Tri-Strikes going on here. I rotate around up to the middle. I'm trying to focus on the Wellstring. Unfortunately, they're able to get me. They're kind of hanging out in this right side bunker here, so my next goal is to try to take out people in the right side bunker here at least as quickly as possible. They're not really playing objective well, as you can see here. We've actually been holding objective for quite a long time. Unfortunately, these Tri-Strikes I think are going to be able to flip the zone, not quite. Wellstring wasn't able to utilize their thrown hammer quite easily. We have Crab activated here, but they do not focus on me. I try to paint Lucy's feet, but I don't worry about it because Lucy is kind of already in a good spot. We got a white barrier here, which is perfect, and then we push up. We make sure to paint everything. Merlin and I try to go up and around here, try to paint up as much of the bridge as possible. I paint that sponge just to make sure that when they come back, if they want to come back around this way, they have to repaint the sponge, and I'll be able to easily see it from here. I pop missiles here just to flush out the top left here bunker. We use Tri-Strikes here. Pretty much, we're trying to hold them back at like this point here. just because if they manage to push past here, that is something that they deserve, because this is a really dangerous spot for them to be past here. We have height advantage, like we have height advantage, we have vision advantage. We can throw bombs up here. Lucy can throw bombs up here. I can throw bombs up here if needed. I can shoot up here if needed. So in general, we're trying to keep the line of scrimmage basically up to here. I go right and left trying to do as much as possible. Unfortunately, they activate tri-strikes to clear a bridge. They managed to get 2 of us. I managed to get 1. Unfortunately, I think I tried to hold out here just to try to keep them busy. Unfortunately, they attacking the 2 people. They did waste a splashdown here, which is actually good for us. We managed to get down to 20 points. They're going to flip here, which is totally fine because there is about 1:50 left, so we have plenty of time to come back. So you try to strike on the bridge here. I knew that they were going to try to rush up and do the same thing that we did, so I wanted to hold here. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do so. I think the Wellstring or the Sea Jet, it was one of these 3 were able to take out everybody over here, unfortunately. So they managed to take up a lot of space, unfortunately, which is rough. Bio's in a good spot, and I am going to go up to the top right here to use the high ground to try to fight. Unfortunately, because they're throwing a whole lot of stuff, I'm not able to stay up there, but I managed to get missiles. I pop missiles. I try to paint the mid as much as possible. Managed to get 1 pick here. Unfortunately, not able to get another one, I don't think. I think I tried to go for the spoil string, but they're able to get away and pop the hammer and throw it at me, which forces me to move back. We have Bio using the Brio Bomb. I don't know if... Okay, Bio doesn't die. Unfortunately, they're able to get around left of me. I say this way. Bio was able to get that kill. Unfortunately, they were able to... Oh, no one was able to get that kill on the Jet Sculpture, so unfortunately, they were able to kind of get away scot-free. They were able to flip it here. And I go to the left with Bio just so that we have a place to get up. And I'm trying to keep the underside of this painted so that they aren't able to just get up and around. And I also try to paint Bio's speed as much as possible. I see Bio go in, so I pop 10 missiles to make sure Bio has at least some backup. They're able to get a trade, and I believe we're able to flip here. Unfortunately, 2 people were able to go down, but we were able to flip, which is good. They pop strikes and they pop stamp. Unfortunately, they were able to get 2 of us out. And I go up the top right here just because it's a little bit faster to get into the main action. I am trying to avoid the Wellstring. Unfortunately, I was not able to avoid them. They were able to just get a 1-shot on me, which stinks. Now, unfortunately, because we have 10 seconds and they're about to get lead here, I don't think we end up being able to get past this area. However, we are all alive, and we do have Booyah Bomb activated. We were able to flip, but not until they lost the lead. So unfortunately, for this particular game, they were able to win. I personally think we actually fought that really well. I think we used the high ground to our advantage really, really easily. The only unfortunate fact is that we just got pushed on an unfortunate amount of time. They were able to win more fights, and they were able to play objective a bit better. So I think overall the other team they did deserve this win, but I definitely think we had an easier time with that. Anyways, that is going to be it for this VoD review. If you also have any advice for me personally, I would be more than happy to accept it. Just based off of my gameplay alone, don't look at my teammates' gameplay because that is not what we're reviewing here. We're reviewing my own personal gameplay so that I can improve. I definitely have learned a lot this VoD session. And just going through and watching it again, I need to learn to position myself better. While I did take advantage of better positioning when I was using the splatter shot, I still think there is some positions that I could have worked a bit better, try to use the top bridge a little bit more in the second game. In the first game, while overall it went good, I think there is some times where I retreated when I didn't have to. So that is definitely something that I could work on. But overall, that is going to be it for this particular VoD review. I am planning on doing more so in the future, so feel free to subscribe if you want to see me just talk about my own gameplay a little bit more. Thank you guys very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you guys next time for whatever we have in store.